Hey, it's you with Aim Shoot Develop. Today I'm talking about one of my favorite little camera series that I like collecting for. It's the Vivitar Cv35 and the Vivitar Date-to-Print Cv40. So both of these cameras pretty much they're both usable 35mm film cameras that have a transparent front, even transparent side, but have a regular black back so you can just use it as a regular camera. On a technical standpoint, these cameras actually aren't that big of a deal. But on a usability and just fun factor camera, these things are through the roof. They remind me a lot of the N64 controllers or consoles, how you would have, the transparent colors like the jungle green and like the ice blue, kind of like this one here, the Vivitar Cv40. But wanted to talk about some of the differences between the models and why, I like collecting them. So here you go. Here's the Cv35, very basic. This one pretty much stops the shutter from going. You can actually, what's pretty cool about the transparent model, you can actually see and trace the mechanism that this little piece actually blocks the function of the shutter. So with that down, you actually can't push it, but if you were to push it all the way down, then you have a little bit more range, which is kind of cool. You have the flash, and one of the things that I've actually been thinking about with these models is I wonder if I've actually not film tested them yet, but because there's this like purple tint and the blue tint, I wonder if there's in darker situations if the pictures will actually come out with some of those tints in the frame. So be on the lookout for a video talking about not just this camera or this camera, but pretty much to see if like this actually comes through, if my theory is correct on that. And so yeah, you can see here there's just a basic strap. The differences between the Cv35 and the Cv40 is this one has a little manual wind here, and it does have a little, you can see, I like how they did, kind of a cooler little circuit board that kind of complements the color, and then the orange to really make it pop and stand out through the transparency. But pretty straightforward, just your basic 35mm film camera stuff. Just pop it down. Then you got your pressure plate, you have this little piece here, your light seals, but pretty straightforward. There's not too much in the viewfinder. You do get this red LED that tells you when the flash is good. You have exposure counter and then your shutter button. So yeah, pretty straightforward, pretty cool. And then with the Cv40, which I believe is kind of a luxury model in comparison, so this is a little base model with just manual, regular stuff. This one's a little bit more automatic, so when you swipe that through, you can turn on the flash. Everything's straightforward, but again, it won't let you do it. You can literally see it here, and then it's pretty cool. This one does have a motor drive, and it does have a data back. So basically, let's see, this one runs off a CR2025 3-volt battery that you can install in the back. And here goes your film. You can actually see, if I turn it on, you can actually see. It just advances nice and smooth. And yeah, it tells you when there's low light, so it does have a light meter that's constantly reading. This one does not actually have a light meter. This one's obviously a little bit more on the electronic side. So you can see some of the things. It doesn't have that little cool latch because it's on the bottom. And here's the, I believe, film rewind. I'm not too sure on that one. You can see the batteries, which is kind of cool. It really, inspires you to get some nicer batteries. But one of the things that I actually liked on the Cv35 rather than the Cv40, obviously this is a bit smaller. You can see here that it doesn't have the motor drive and stuff. I think a sweet, cool thing that I like about it is that the battery on the Cv35 actually fits perfectly under the little spool that takes up film. So you can see that the battery actually shows up under there, which is pretty cool. Design wise, this is very clever. It takes up minimal space, so very, very clever. Not to say that it takes away from the Cv40, but as you can see, the little film canister would actually be here. So you can see that there's a little thing to take up film, and it's a little off to the side, so it's not that big of a deal, but just something cool. Just little differences that you notice over time. But yeah, I'm gonna eventually put a little battery in there, the little battery. So you can see the light meter tells you when it's going to take a picture, and taking a picture, and then turning it off. Simple as that. Yeah, I definitely wanted to make this quick video talking about this little camera series. These cameras aren't that expensive in the grand scheme of things because, you know, these lenses aren't the sharpest. You know, they're you know, the fun factor on these cameras, I think that's something that really doesn't get talked about cameras, is just the coolness. Like, if I was to see someone using this camera, I'd be intrigued. And, you know, not so much more of, you know, someone's not using it on a technical aspect of like, you know, where's this thing for or whatever. This one just screams kind of, this person's just having fun, you know, kind of let your guard down to be a little bit sillier on a picture, you know, knowing that it's not going to be on a billboard or something, but it's just going to be in somebody's collection, or someone, you know, someone's just, you know, Pinterest board or something fun. So I wanted to make this quick video talking about this. I do have more content coming out soon. If you like this stuff, I'm always talking about a little bit offbeat cameras, whether it's, you know, this camera. I do have one talking about my Olympus Mu transparent camera, my demo cameras, which is kind of why I got into these clearer cameras, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I definitely have a ton more content coming out soon, whether it's tutorials on how to do things photography wise or just talking about cameras. So if you like what you saw, if you like looking at stuff like this on the constant, I'm always posting stuff pretty frequently. You can see the upload dates, they're very consistent. And yeah, like and subscribe, keep shooting film. Peace.